welcome to this defense.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Professor William. I'm from the Department of Economics, Accounting and Finance, and also as Professor.
Morning. My name is Professor Buisa. I teach entrepreneurship in ETMM. Dr. Susan is my boss.
My name is Dr. from the Department of Information. Good morning. I'm Lydia Matt from the Dr. Alice Lee. I'm standing in for Professor Heather. She's the chairperson. I'm the coordinator. As well as in ETLM department. So I'll be chairing this session today. We were having your proposal presentation. So the proposal presentation is just about improving your document from what you've been doing with your supervisor. It's like we are just increasing the eyes and increasing the thinking. So when we tell you that you have this, you need to improve here and there, we are not saying that you've not done a good job. We just want to add value to your document. So take it positively and register all the comments. You have 7 minutes.
Okay, statement of problem. The garment industry is considered an important component of consistent economy in Kenya. And as a result, it has been one of the sectors targeted for employment, creation, and national development. The industry has however stagnated since 1990s, and that is by Chemengich 2013. For example, while the demand for textile products in Kenya is expected to be growing at 3.8%, the local manufacturers supply only 45%, whereas imports account for about 55%. Again, another example is the global export market, where we find that Kenya is still lagging behind compared to other developing economies such as Bangladesh and Vietnam. The prevailing state of affairs has been attributed to various factors such as labor costs, high cost of power, low incomes combined with structural adjustment among other things. But equally critical to performance of survival of farms, that is according to strategic management literature, is what we call functional competence. For instance, Josh and Neil, they've observed that farms require a specific set of functional competence to gain competitive edge. Yet, despite the foregoing, sufficient attention has not been given to the role of functional competency on performance of Kenya's garment sector, hence the need for this study. The general objective of the study is to determine the influence of functional competence competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. Specific objectives, there are 5 of them. One is to determine the influence of efficiency competence on competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. Number 2, to establish the influence of quality competencies on competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. Number 3, to find out whether innovation competencies have influence on competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. Number 4, to establish the influence of customer responsiveness competencies on competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. The 5th is to determine the moderating influence of institutional factors on the relationship between functional competencies and competitive advantage in large and medium companies in Kenya. Those are the results hypotheses. Null hypothesis 1, efficiency competency do not have significant influence on competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. Null hypothesis 2, quality competencies do not have a significant influence on competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. And null hypothesis 3, innovation competencies do not have a significant influence on competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. And null hypothesis number 4, customer responsiveness competencies do not have a significant influence on competitive advantage in medium and large garment companies in Kenya. Null hypothesis number 5, institutional factors do not have a moderating influence on the relationship between functional competencies and competitive advantage medium and large garment companies in Kenya. There's the conception of humor. We have the dependent variables there. That is efficiency, quality, innovation, and customer responsiveness. And this one is supposed to have an effect on competitive advantage. And down there again, we have the social factors, where we have two indicators, objective and cognitive. Okay, chapter, this is my research methodology, research design. A cross-section service design will be adopted in collecting both quantitative and quantitative data. Functional tests will be applied to determine the relationship between functional competence and cognitive advantage. The target population there. This study will comprise of an estimated 170 medium and large government companies registered and are operating in Kenya. This number again was derived from a study which was commissioned by the Ministry of Industrialization. Okay. Sampling technique. This study again is going to adopt a most-stage sampling approach, where again 118 companies will be obtained from a population of 170. The company will thereafter be classified in terms of numbers per each county, so that you can get a weighted proportion. That is out of 118. How many are going to come from each county? Then from there again, I'm going to use simple random sampling technique to know which firms are going to take part from the sample which have been derived from each county. Again, there we have the table for each county. Again, the total number there, and again, how I'm going to be able to come up with the number from each county. Okay, data analysis presentation. Data operation recording. Field questions will be reviewed to determine the level of completeness and consistency. Then from there, the ones with a high degree of errors, they are going to be eliminated. Subsequently, the data will be grouped into 6 themes, that is according to the number of objectives. And again, from there, they will be broken down to sub-themes as per the variables indicated in the study. The data will thereafter be coded to create a means of using quantitative interpretations. Descriptive statistics will be used to illustrate and providing the 118 sample of the 170 medium and large enterprises. The statistics to be generated will include mean, value, standard deviation, and percentages. Descriptive statistics again will entail the presentation of these numerical facts through tables, in form of tables, graph forms, and with an ability of analyzing the data to give an in-depth understanding of the characteristics of the respondents. Differential data analysis again is going to take place, and again to establish the relationship between independent variables. From there, regression analysis again is also going to be used. That is an ANOVA to aid in computing the stated statistics. And then again, use that regression analysis, I was able to come with a model down there. And that's the one that I'm going to use. That's the model of the study. From there again, test of hypothesis will also be conducted, and both F-tests and t-tests will be used to produce the 5 hypotheses in this study.
Thank you very much. Actually, I don't have many questions. Thank you for your presentation. I just wanted to know something on that conceptual framework. Under innovation, for instance, I wanted to understand how is learning from experience an indicator of innovation?
Learning from experiences basically involves what we call a partition control, where again maybe you make some mistakes and you learn from you go back to the drawing board and you try to see what went wrong, so that may be again you can be able to correct.
So when you do that, you're being innovative.
Basically, you are improving the product and whatever you went for. So it's part of the innovation, because you can't be innovative when again you're not going to fast mistakes.
Oh, I didn't understand that.
No, but you're just correcting. That's not innovation. It's just being too diplomatic. You're just correcting. In fact, you've been correct. You'll be at the same level. You made a mistake.
That is not unusual.
Innovation is what the addition is, and we have to have a relative advantage to the comparative advantage to the existing, compatibility to whatever. Innovation must be, in entrepreneurship we call it creative destruction. You destroy, but in the place of that you pick something better. That should be as innovation, which is the pillar of entrepreneurship. So I agree with my prof here that it's very difficult. You have to explain it a little way so that we learn.
Yes, I find it.
But just on the same framework.
Just to talk. You have to do the same and let him isolate what is innovation indicator.
I didn't understand at all, but you know, well, I'm
But
an
to
ignorant
give
person.
Kenya Industrial Property Institute, and they'll give you what is innovation to be patented. For something to can't be patented an innovation, there are parameters that we look at to say this is an innovation and this is not an innovation.
But now I'm just interested. You see all those indicators in your framework, which are actually in your questionnaire. Like all of them, you see economies of scale, learning effects, materials management, all the way up to reducing responsive time. These are more or less what Prof was saying. These are qualitative things, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah.
They are qualitative aspects.
Yeah, but I believe the question I tried to really make them quantify it.
Huh? I don't be shrewd. What? Huh? How have you made them quantifiable by creating a liquor sketch? Because why I'm asking you that, you see on page 49, there is a model which you are calling analytical model. What is the name of this model, by the way? It's not an analytical model. Just what is its name? Oh, it's a regression model. Okay, if it's a linear model anyway, but in its form, the variables you are dealing with ought to be quantitative ones. So I wanted to understand how these ones eventually would connect to become quantitative. Is it possible? I just wanted to understand how these ones would connect eventually to become quantitative, and then you use this model to analyze them.
Basically, I think how to frame the question. I don't know if you I tried to frame the question in such a way where things like economies of scale they can be captured very well. And again, I'm not going to repeat the information. It's basically the only thing that can help. And again, if that happens in the field, verify that.
So have you framed that questionnaire?
Yes, I believe I framed it.
How? You know, Anthony,
But he has already referred to the
see, I've
research
seen
that
and
is here.
Okay.
don't be clever that in your field.
Okay.
I have friends who are in your field, so maybe they have told me.
No, I'm just.
But I'm only
not statistics, but I'm talking about just social science. You know, we have to really reward so many just subjective and try to make them quantifiable.
See, that's what I wanted to understand, how you have made these ones to be quantitative. That's what I wanted to from your field. Yes, the way you have put it.
Basically, I think I can just go back to the question because I think how I frame the question. That's the only way I can capture economies of
He has
scale.
agreed that he will resubmit. He will resubmit this. You have just agreed.
Look at it with your
And it represents
Yeah, we
it.
shall.
Yes, yes.
It's okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Prof. Professor Bisa.
Okay, and I want to try to convince you to change what you are studying, because you have a very rich statement of the problem. If you agree with me, then that's okay. And I'm also talking as the former chairman of Kenya Investment Authority, who was dealing with this garment that, you know, the river takes how long it went. I mean, we couldn't revive it until more university got it. And you remember when Mitumba came in and have killed, the Agoa and all that, isn't it? If you can frame your work in those areas, it will help this kind. I'm talking of the value of the research, so that we can even pick it up and implement. Look, you have said on your page 5, statement of the problem, something that I like, the however, however, and then you go on and say, garment industry has stagnated, and you have identified already the reason: labor costs, isn't it? Cost of power, isn't it? Poor access to finance, lack of institutional support, low incomes. And those are now the major constraints. If we address those ones, this functional will come by itself. We know in project managers are here, problem tree analysis. When you address the root cause, then the symptoms will be, to me, functional are symptoms. If we had good finances and a good remuneration, those workers will work very well. So I was thinking that perhaps if you look at what you have listed here as the major, although you have said also that equally critical is competitiveness and survival, whatever. But me, I'm thinking this is not the root cause. This is a higher level cause. When you address the root cause, like I'm saying, operational competencies. If you have enough finances, operations will be okay, isn't it? But if you're going to observe operational, but still we don't have finances, if you're talking of innovation and if you don't have R&D to whatever, isn't it? So I was thinking, now if that convinces you, well, not like incentives and blah, blah, blah. How can we kill Mitumba so that we have demand, we create demand for our comment, and then demand is created, everything goes through. Now, when I come now to your objectives, let's just take one specific, efficiency. What is efficiency? Give me a simple formula of efficiency. Now that my quantitative guys don't have helped me. But the simplest efficient is equal to O over I, isn't it? Now let us now take I, because the lower the I, the higher the efficiency. Now what are the components of I? Give me the components of I: labor, raw materials, capital, technology, isn't it? Now that in itself becomes a full blast research. That specific objective alone. Because now you are saying you are going to draw that equation that efficiency is equal to zero over, or output over input. And if we want to increase efficiency, there are about 5 ways we can reason it. Increase O, holding I constant. Now, how can you increase O, holding all constant? Strategies to increase O with I constant. That's one. The second one will be decrease I, holding O constant, isn't it? Now, strategies to decrease I. The others will be increase O faster. No, both of them are increasing, but one is increasing at a higher rate than, isn't it? Now, all those strategies are not are even, in fact, more than a research for a whole year. So if you just pick one alone, this specific objective alone is more enough. More than enough. So when you go to the others, you'll be just touching on top, on the surface. And therefore, nobody will take you for a consultant because you have not gone in there. You have done it for the value of the teaching, and even teaching the, not even at PhD level, shall we teach it at undergraduate level. So I'm trying to suggest that if you can go back to that statement of the program just and say, what strategies can we put in place, like you're doing institutional support, and you go to stakeholder analysis, and you do those stakeholder analysis and you see what they want, and then you bring out those strategies, it will be very valuable for this country. But if you insist on this one, then scale it down. I strongly propose, because quality competencies, I don't know, when I teach diploma, it's very difficult. So if you can just pick, let's call it number 1, and then blow it up using that just formula, you'll be home and dry.